Well, I mean, I can have my personal biases about how I like to work. Um, I think importantly, you kind of need to step back to the 30,000 foot level and just understand the sort of the sea changes that are happening in the industries that we work in. You know, it's this shift from being more sales led or marketing led, where it's just like dropping the customer down into the top of the funnel. And the shift from that to thinking about the lifetime value of a customer and thinking how technology and design can help boost that lifetime value. That is a massive shift. And there's components around technology. I mean, certainly technology is enabling it. And it's enabling us to move quickly and to think about it. But it's also cultural, and it's based on how consumers interact with technology and expect out of technology. So on a very, very high level, that shift from even to something like subscription-based pricing, you know, you could take an e-commerce company that's incredibly good at e-commerce, but now is trying to offer monthly plans, and it's like their mind explodes. Like, that's not what they've been doing. They've been doing e-commerce for 15 years, and they're very good at it, but they still need to take some new steps in thinking about design and thinking about how they think about product. So the macro trends are those that I mentioned. Now, what that necessitates from the purpose of how teams work is, you know, I use the same thing. You know, are you shipping as fast as you learn or learning as fast as you ship? You have to have these cross-functional teams with access to the customers that have more autonomy to work and more flexibility to work. You're not going to capitalize on those macro trends unless you work in ways that resemble that. So, you know, I have to separate my personal bias, because the reality is you could have 10 companies with very different cultures. And this is an important lesson for people who are into product management. You know, they look at Silicon Valley, or they've read one blog post, you know, good product manager, bad product manager, and think that's the universal definition of a good product manager and bad product manager. And I speak to lots of teams every week. And the reality is you can have different cultures of product development, product management in 10 different companies, and they're all successful. It's a congruence, like they're congruent within themselves and they execute. We could go into more of those different models, but it's important to remember that you can't apply what works in a very individualistic culture in the United States to maybe Northern Europe and expect it to work exactly. So there's a lot of depth there.